All right, I'm recording now. Okay, so back to our search results. So we've got collections, formats, tags is another one we can filter by. I'm just going to click one so you can see how that changes. So that, sort of shrinks our results. This is things that have come up both with history in the title, but now also things that are tagged with history. And you can see over here on the right-hand side where my facet or filter is, and I can click that X to remove it if I would like to. I can also click more filters if I would like to filter by both things that are tagged history and Pacific Northwest. I can just click that one, and now it will show me both. So you can have multiple filters going on at any point, and you can also choose which types of filters you would like to allow for your searches, so you don't have to have all of these. The available options are, in order, format, collections, tags, genre, language, and original language. And you can remove any or all of these if you would like. You can also sort your search results by a few different things. Relevancy is the first one, and that's a little sort of secret LibraryThing algorithm-y. Acquisition, meaning acquisition date, so most recently added things to your catalog. Title, date, which is publication date, author, and popularity, meaning its popularity on LibraryThing. So that is your search results page. Other cool things you can do on your search results is making a starred list. So let's say you want to keep track of a few of these books for later. So I can click this little star icon underneath a few of them, and this gives me a starred list. So now you can see up here in the upper right corner, the little star icon has a little 4 next to it. That means I have 4 starred items in this session. This clears by session, by the way. So if you close out of your TinyCat library and then come back, the starred list will disappear. But if I click on those stars, it will take me to my starred list, or it should. There it goes. So these are all of my starred items. And you can always click the star again to unstar it and remove it from your list. You can print this list or email it to yourself with this little envelope icon up here in the upper left corner below the search bar. And it's really handy for things like if you want to keep track of it for later in your email, or just to keep track of things that you would like to borrow in the future. Very, very handy. Let's see, what else do I got here? By the way, TinyCat is fully mobily adaptable and friendly. I can't show you because I don't have a way to share my phone screen with you, but everything scales to mobile. If I were to shrink my window, I'm going to try to show you a little bit what it would look like on mobile. It will look like this sort of single column like this. So you still get quite a bit of information even if you're on a very small screen device. And there's no app that you need to download to use it. It's right in your browser, whichever browser application you'd like to use. Let's see. Margie has a question, am I using this as a user in this demo or as an administrator? I'm currently acting as a user. I am signed in as an administrator on this account, and I will get into the administrator settings later. But this is everything that I've done so far users can do. So starred lists, emailing items to yourself, and Folio has this disabled, but you can also elect to have social media icons like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest that will appear right here below your cover images, so people can share them with their social media accounts. And I'll show you that on my own library in a little bit. Let's see, share buttons. Sorry, I'm going through my list to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. So if I wanted to email myself this list, I would click this little envelope icon, and then I can put my email in here and send it to myself. And then I'll get an email, and that way you don't have to be logged in at all as a user. You can just do that from any computer, any device, and that'll go right to you. So, and there's no, since this is just a list of items, there's no need for admin interference or approval of this list or anything. This isn't checking anything out. Let's see, let's go into a detail page real quick. Let me go back to my search results. And let's sort by popularity, just to make sure I've got a book with a lot of good info in it. Oh, that's a good one, Devil in the White City. I read that one when I moved to Chicago. Okay, so this is what your detail page looks like, and you can reach this by clicking on the cover image or the title from basically anywhere within TinyCat. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if anyone's a little lost. I'd be happy to back up and slow things down a bit. So right at the top of your detail page, you're going to have your title, your author, and the brief publication info. Most of the information on your detail page is customizable in terms of what order you show it in. So, you know, the title and author, and I believe publication info at least, will all be at the top always, and the status bar where you can request items or check them out will always be towards the top, but everything below that point you can customize and reorder and choose whether or not you want to have that displayed at all even. So you have media reviews as well as the source that they come from, your description of the book, publication info, collections, genres, and tags are clickable, and that will take you to a search for that thing within the library, a filtered search. And you also have user reviews from within LibraryThing, and you can expand to see those if you would like. I'm not going to do that right now because that will make the page really, really long. And then subjects are from Library of Congress subject settings. They are not editable at this time. That has been a highly requested feature. We're working on it. So it's likely coming in the near future. And awards are also pulled from LibraryThing. And language, original language, everything about your book you could possibly want. Then one of my favorite parts, you have the similar in this library. So if you're familiar with LibraryThing, you are probably familiar with what book pages look like and the recommendations section. So this is recommendations from books within this specific library. It's not just taking you out to LibraryThing. So from here, I can click on any title and get to that from another book's page. So like if I liked Isaac Storm, I could scroll down to similar in this library and find other stuff that I'm likely to enjoy based on that book. Let's see. This library does not have Mark View enabled, so I'm going to take a moment and go to my personal library to show you what Mark View looks like. This is my library. That is my cat. Let's see. Here's a good one. So I've got a few more and slightly different things going on my detail pages, as you can see. I have enabled what we call simple circulation, which means that logged in patrons can check out items to themselves. You can enable this or disable this.
Rain, how did you get to that page?
I got to this page, but this is a different library. I got by going to my own library. I'll give you the URL in case you want to poke around in my library.
I just didn't know how I would do mine.
Okay, so all libraries are going to have this sort of format, which is librarycat.org/lib and then your username. So whatever you use to log into LibraryThing.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And so everything, each of your books and each of your searches will have a unique URL, and that way you can link people to searches, to specific book pages. So if I wanted to send you to a link on a specific book page, this particular one, if you click this link that I put in chat right now, you'll get exactly to this page in your own browser. Pardon me, got a little cold going on here. So I have a few different buttons enabled. I have Ask About This, which this is a fully customizable button. You can change the text of it, but it basically triggers an email to your library administrator saying this person wants to know about this book and whether they can get it. So I would type in my name, my email, and then, you know, a comment like, I'd like to check this out. And then submit it, and that goes to the email address connected with your LibraryThing account. So going down, sorry, I was trying to get to the Mark View, which I don't see on here. Where is it hiding? Yeah. So you can choose which links you would like to have under your More section on detail page. You can link to Amazon if you'd like. You can also link to the books page on LibraryThing, which I'm going to take us to real quick. And book pages on LibraryThing are still where you will do all of your editing. So if I needed to make any changes to this book, and I'm in TinyCat here, I would click on LibraryThing, and that would take me into here where I can edit my book. Does that make sense? Everyone with me?
Yes.
All right, great.
So
let's see.
Another...
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to. I'm obviously a neophyte. If you haven't figured that out, but
no worries.
When I edit things on my LibraryThing page, you know, the book, will that automatically transfer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of the information on your detail page is coming from your LibraryThing account, with the exception of a few things. Some of the, for example, user reviews and media reviews are from what we call common knowledge on LibraryThing, which are publicly editable by all LibraryThing members, and they apply to all copies of this book. So to show you what common knowledge looks like.
His brain works at 1,000 miles an hour, and I told him that. And he doesn't
that?
have to stop thinking.
That's just background, I think.
Okay. Okay. Did anyone have a question? I thought I heard a question, but only barely.
You were going to show us common knowledge.
Yes, common knowledge. Okay, so if I am on a book page in LibraryThing, and this applies, there are author pages, common knowledge as well, I can click on common knowledge over here on the left-hand side, and this will show me a number of editable fields that apply to all copies of this book. So original publication date, characters, important places, all sorts of interesting little factoids about this book. And so this is where information like media reviews comes from, and original language as well. But everything else is coming exactly from your library in LibraryThing into TinyCat. There's no duplication of work, like you don't have to update in both. LibraryThing is just where you do your cataloging. TinyCat is where you show it off.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Let's see. Let me see if I can turn on my, I'm going to go into circulation here. This is in the admin side of things, in case anyone was wondering. I'm going to sign into the library really quick. All right. So it's the main administrator page. To get to this from your library, I will show you. If you're already signed in to your TinyCat account, in the lower right corner, you'll see a little house icon, and you can click that and get to the admin home. If you're not signed in, it will appear as a lock icon, and it will prompt you for your password. Type in your password, hit enter, then you get to the admin home. So for checking items in and out, you have a couple of options on where you can do that. From the admin home, you want to click check in and out. And from here, this is an easy page where you can check out multiple items to the same patron all at once. So for example, let's check out Woman King. You can search by title, by barcode, by anything. And if you only turn up one search result, particularly if you type in the barcode, it will automatically add it to your item list right below here. Let's see, what else do I want to check out? Let's check out Wind Up Girl. That's also there. Okay, so I can add as many items as I want to this list. And now I'm going to check it out to, let's check these out to Christy, my colleague. And you can either type in a patron barcode or, oh, that's why it's not coming up. There we go. Or their name. If the patron record does not already exist, it will allow you to create one right from here. And you can check in, return, or apply another status to these items all at once. And then down here, the due date, elsewhere in the settings, you can choose what your default loan period is. And that's why 14 days is automatically come up here. That's not the default for everyone. That's just what I have chosen. And then I'm going to save to check these out. Oh, Patron does not exist. Let's see. Oh, I know who does, so. Oh, wait. There we go. I don't know why it's telling me that. Pardon me one moment here. I've probably disabled a setting. There we go. Okay. So those items have been checked out to that patron now. So to verify that they've been checked out, I'm going to show you in my library that these items have been checked out. So let's go back to the Woman King record. The search bar for your TinyCat library persists across all of TinyCat, so you can search from any page within it. And now you can see that this item is marked as checked out. I can still ask about it, but I cannot check it out to anyone else. Let's see, going back to circulation. All right, let me make sure I've got simple circulation going here. Yes, okay, item circulation. Sorry, one moment while I check my settings. I will go into how these settings work in just a moment. Please hang in there. While I am doing this, does anybody have any questions for me on things that I've covered so far? Feel free to type or start talking.
I just want to say thanks, and I'm going to sign off.
Okay, of course. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right. Any other questions? All right. So now I've changed my settings so that simple circulation is available. So what I showed you earlier is what we call full circulation. Simple circulation allows members to check items out for themselves. For example, let's go to an item here, and I'm going to check this out to an existing patron. Simple circulation allows all patrons to self-check out using one password, which is very handy. So I click the checkout button. It says, hey, what's the password? Oh, that's a typo. There we go. And then it shows me who is checking it out. So let's say Alex is checking this out. Now I'm going to check this item out to Alex. And you can choose whether you want to show first names and last names, patron barcodes. But that is a good option for situations. Oh, sorry? Somebody have a question? Sorry about that. Does the administrator add each name? That is a good question. Yes, the administrator adds the name. So if you're using simple circulation, there's no way right when you're checking it out to create a patron at that moment. I will get into adding patrons in just a second. You can also, on my items, let's go back to my library really quick. You can also place holds on items. Currently, there is no hold queue, so if, say, one person has an item checked out, another person cannot place a hold on that item. That's part of why we made the ask about this button. We are working on a hold queue for future releases, but as long as an item is not checked out, a patron can place a hold, and I'm going to put this on hold for Ben, and confirm request. Placing holds just sort of is a way to clue the administrator in that someone wants to check out this book, and depending on what your workflow and what your library looks like, you can set it aside for them or whatever works best for you. I'm going to move into our admin settings. Okay, so back to the admin homepage. So we've covered check in and out. Catalog button right here will get you back to your main library page, the home page here. Your front page for your library there. So that's useful if you need to get back there quickly. Settings is where things get fun. There are a lot of TinyCat settings. I'm not going to cover every single one of them because there is so much, but I am going to send you a link to where our TinyCat help and walkthrough pages live. We have a whole wiki devoted to TinyCat FAQs and how to get your settings working the way you'd like to. And that lives right here. And you can also access this. I put the URL in the chat. You can also access this from any admin page. There is a little help icon up here in the upper right corner. Clicking that icon will take you to the TinyCat help page that is relevant to those specific settings. How's everybody doing? Following along so far? Okay, so the first thing that will come up on your settings is your basic settings, and this is where you're going to set up the name of your library, which collections you would, go back to wiki for address. Okay, I posted it here in the chat, Margie, if you can see it, but the main page for it lives at librarything.com/wiki/index.php/tinycat. And I will copy that here again in case you missed it the first time. Oh, it looks like, okay, I'm going to send that to Margie directly just to make sure that she sees that. There we go. All right. Okay, going back to my settings. Okay, so you, as I was saying, you can select which of your collections in LibraryThing you would like to have actually active on TinyCat. So for example, you'll see in my collections, I do not have my wish list active because those are books I don't own. Those are books that I would like to get, but having them here in TinyCat will not help anyone because nobody can check them out. And so these are the very basic, getting yourself started settings. Then we have content. Let's see. Sorry, I've got a quick question here. Okay, so TinyCat content settings. You can choose, where you'd like to get your covers from, genres that you would like to show in your search filters. And it also shows you how many books you have in each genre, which is very useful. So, for example, I don't have anything in health and wellness, which is why it's not selected. And collection labels. So there is the ability to not just choose which collections you would like to show, but then also decide which collections you would like to have members be able to see the name of that collection in your library. So this is separate from collections that will show up in your library. You can also add your own JavaScript to every page. So for example, in the future, if you would like to add book display widgets or any sort of extra stuff that you'd like to add to your TinyCat library, there is a place for this. This is sort of advanced users stuff. I wouldn't recommend playing around with it unless you have someone who is knowledgeable in JavaScript. But if you do, it's there as an option. Homepage is pretty self-explanatory. It's everything that shows up on your homepage. Welcome text, links to other sites and pages, whether you'd like the animated display to show up. I have it set to random. As I said earlier, you can also set it to recent items. So if you want to highlight newly added things to your library, that is a good setting for you. And I don't have any content at the bottom of my homepage there. Search page settings. This is where, as I mentioned earlier, you can choose which filters you want your users to be able to apply to your search pages. Whether you'd like to show facets on the right-hand side, and all of that good stuff. Detail pages is where you can do things like edit the Ask About This button, and there's my show mark view, and the social buttons as well. I'm going to save my changes real quick. Detail page settings is exciting because this is where you can change the order of the information that shows up on your book page. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here. For example, I'm going to open up this book page, and I'm going to go back to my settings and change some things around. These are all drag and drop, so I can move around each field however I'd like. I can even remove them by clicking this little X here, and then I'm going to add my library's rating up at the top, save my changes, and then go back to that book page, and I'm going to refresh so you can see what changed. So now I've got the series here at the top instead of the description, and some things have moved around a little bit. So you can choose what to display and in what order, which I think is really key for libraries. And then patrons. This is where you can choose what kind of patron records you want to have, how detailed you want to get. You can have barcodes and patron IDs, whether you want to require full addresses, email addresses, phone numbers. You can even add custom fields, and you can choose to automatically generate your patron ID numbers or manually enter them individually. Patron accounts. This is where you would change your simple circulation, which involves self-checkout, or full circulation. Full circulation allows patrons to log in individually. Simple circulation has one login for all patrons. So let's see. Let's save my changes. And then circulation allows you to change your settings for those buttons, whether you'd like to enable or disable checkout buttons. You don't have to have those buttons right on the book page. And your call number system. We support a number of call number systems, personal or custom system for those of you who've made up your own, and Dewey Decimal and Library of Congress, and a number of others that you can edit on LibraryThing. Let's see here. Contact info is for contact information about your library and your organization. And it's useful for billing, and also the email address is where notifications from TinyCat, like say someone placed a hold or something like that, will go to. So that's where you edit all of that. Any questions about these settings so far? I know there's a lot here. I'm sorry I'm doing just a very brief overview. I'll be happy to answer questions either here or via email, whichever you'd like to do. Any questions so far? Let's see. Great to have a transcript as well as the recording. I'll see about a transcript. That would likely be longer in the works than the recording, but I will work on that. Thank you for that, Robert. Let's see. Any questions so far, or can I move right on? We lost, are we with me? Help pages, yeah, that's true. Christy is correct. Christy is one of my colleagues who's sitting in, the help pages will walk you through very detailed what each setting does and how to achieve what you want to do for your library. Those are very, very detailed. So, all right, I'm going to move on to patron information. Patrons, we have finally created a way to import your patrons to LibraryThing. So if you have a spreadsheet, currently we can only accept CSV type files, which you can save from Excel or from any number of other applications of your patrons that you're currently using. You can import that here at the patrons page by going to More and Import Patrons. Once you have imported this file, the beautiful thing about this is that once you have imported this file, you can then map specifically which column headers from your spreadsheet go to which fields in TinyCat, so that you can make sure that your patron IDs are not going into the phone numbers and the names aren't going into the addresses and things like that. It's very, I don't have a file handy, so I can't walk you through this right now, but it's very easy to do once you're there. I think, I know what I was going to do. I wanted to show you what it looks like to do self-checkout with full circulation from a patron account. So I'm going to go back to my personal library. So if I am an average user, I'm not the administrator of this account, and I want to check things out to myself, I'm going to click this little person icon up in the upper right corner next to Loran's library, and I'm going to type in my patron ID. And let's just say patron ID 1. So now I'm signed in. And now I can see my borrowing history, my account information, my name and other information that I've added. I can sign out. And now I can also do things like check things out to myself. So I'm going to go back to the main library page, and I'm going to check out Kraken to this patron account. So I'm going to click the checkout button. and click Checkout to confirm. And now this book is checked out to me. You can enable or disable self-checkouts for TinyCat as you like. That is the way that it works if you want to have multiple sign-in, each individual patron having a sign-in of their own, instead of earlier when you just had one password and then you select the patron from the list. This is better for larger libraries where you have a larger number of patrons and you don't want to have other people able to check things out, to their friends. So that is how patron accounts work. I think that covers the bulk of it. Does anyone have any questions they'd like me to answer or anything you'd like me to go over again? I'll be happy to answer them now. If you're having trouble getting through on the audio, make sure your mic is unmuted, or you can type in chat and I'll be happy to answer. Anybody? Okay, let's see, for patron accounts, so they need a password or just their ID? Shannon, that's a good question. And the answer is whatever you would like them to do. There is a setting for that. I can show you where it is. I'm going to go back to my admin home, go to patrons. Oh, sorry, I went to the wrong place. Settings, and then patron accounts. And here is where you can decide whether they need a barcode ID and password or just their barcode or ID. And by barcode ID, we mean the unique identifier. So I typed in 1 because that was my first patron. You can, again, manually assign patron ID numbers or have them created automatically. So yes, these are options for full circulation. For simple circulation, you can't require either of those things. It is, again, just the one password for all of TinyCat. Any other questions there? Does that answer what you were looking for, Shannon? Do they need to be numbers, or could we use something like their email? I believe that they need to be numbers, unfortunately. Christy, can you confirm or deny this for me? Christy is our TinyCat guru.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that IDs will accept letters as well as numbers, but that's not really what the system is intended for. When you actually go to scan in, if you want to circulate the barcode on circulation, it's obviously not going to scan in if it's text. So you can do it, but it's not really advised if you plan to use the IDs with circulation.
Yeah, I don't think email address would work because that has the special character of the @ symbol. But if you wanted to say, go with, like first initial, last name as an ID, that would in theory work. And Jennifer had a question for me. Any plans to add a serials module so you could track individual magazine issues? Yes, we do have plans to add the serials module or a serials support. That's being worked on. I'm not sure what the ETA is on that, but it is coming. It'll likely be a month or two. Any other questions? I'll give everyone a moment to type in or pipe up what if they have anything for me. Or anything you're curious about whether TinyCat can support a specific thing, I'll be happy to answer. I'm glad so many people were able to join us with kind of short notice. We planned this a little bit impromptu in preparation for ALA, which is happening later this week. We will definitely be having more webinars. So, yes, Christy is right. We are at TinyCatLib on Twitter. And we'll be announcing future webinars there, as well as new feature rollouts, giveaways, things like that. So, great. I'm going to give everyone just another couple of minutes to chime in with their questions, and then otherwise I think we'll wrap this up.
Do you want to enter? They can always email us too if they have questions. Do you
Oh,
want
yes. Yeah. So if you have any questions that you would rather send us by email, you can reach us at TinyCat@LibraryThing.com. Right there. Oh, good grief. Not that. I'm sorry. what I get for typing and talking. There we go. TinyCat at LibraryThing.com. Check out via smartphone by taking a picture of the barcode. We don't have that directly in our plans at the moment, but I will certainly put that down as something to run by our developers and see how feasible that is. You're welcome, Rachel. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Yeah, Kevin, that is a thing that has been asked for, but it would take some serious reworking to make happen. We do have an Android app in the plans, which would allow that, and then you can scan things into your account with the Android app. But at the moment, that's further down the line for TinyCat. Let's see. Margie, it's been working just fine for me. Sorry, Margie asked, I tried using the apps to add books the other day and it crashes frequently. Is there a current issue? Margie, if you would email either me, I would be happy to take a look at that. There's nothing that I know of currently, but depending on what kind of device you're using and what version of the app, we might be able to get that working better for you. Can you migrate book records from an existing catalog that is not LibraryThing? Yes, you absolutely can. Let me show you where that information lives. Margie, you did email 2 days ago. Okay, I will take a look out for your email and make sure that I get back to you later today. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we'll get on that. So importing to LibraryThing from another system. That is absolutely doable. Let me make sure I'm signed in to my account on LibraryThing. I'll show you where that lives. All right, you can import using a number of methods. That all lives in, and this is all in the help wiki as well. So more on LibraryThing.com. Again, all of your cataloging is done on the LibraryThing.com side. So import, export, and I'll put in a link to this page here. This is where our import and export options live. So our universal import can accept things like TXT files, spreadsheets, CSV files from Excel. You can import, we built specific, options for Shelfari, Goodreads, LisaMarks, and we have a MARC import if you have, MARC library records that you would like to import from. So those are our existing import options. If you have something else that you'd like to see us do, feel free to drop us a line. Let's see. Are you familiar with L4U? How does it compare? No, I'm not familiar with L4U. So I'm afraid I can't answer that question, but I can certainly look it up and get back to you later on that. That's Sue Ann. Let's see. Or if you want to tell me a little bit about L4U, I might be able to address some of your questions. Yeah, MARC import works really well. And on MARC import, you'll have a few options as to whether or not you want us to pull information from library records from our existing library sources, or whether you'd like to just overwrite with what is in your import file. There's a number of ways that we can do MARC. So it works very well. Any other questions, anyone? Thanks, Kevin. Thanks so much for joining us.
I came in late. It's Mark Godfroy.
Hi, Mark.
And hi. Thank you for having this. I came in late. I just sort of arrived now. Can you tell me how I've already got a little library on your LibraryThing?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me what did I do to forget how to sign in?
Oh, okay. Yes. I can tell you how. You can see it, but you can't log in?
No, I can't see it because I forget how I did it. Log in.
Mark, I'm going to send you directly my email address. I can help restore access for you.
Okay.
And we'll need to get in touch via email in case your in case your account is connected with your email address. That will make it very easy to recover your account.
Okay.
I'm also going to send you another link to our password reset page.
Okay.
And that's right here. I'm putting these both in the chat.
Great.
Because if you know your username or the email address connected with your account, you can reset your password using that link. If not, then we'll have to help you out. But we can get you access again.
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, it's very interesting.
We think so. We're very proud of TinyCat, and we're excited to share it with everyone. So,
where are you located?
Our main office is in Portland, Maine, but we have staff members all over the country and even the world. I am in Seattle. One of our colleagues is currently in Barcelona. We have another in Portugal.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, we're spread out.
We're very global.
we are. So
wow.
Yeah, LibraryThing Standard Time is generally Eastern because of the Portland office. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. Any other questions from anyone? I don't want to cut anybody off, so I'm trying to, if you feel like you've got everything you need, feel free to sign out, but I'll stick around in case any other questions come up for another few minutes.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are you going to have this webinar again?
Yes, we will definitely have future webinars, especially given the level of attendance on this one. We will be having more webinars in the future, likely in the next 2 to 3 questions. Robert, sorry about that. Your question came in when I was trying to fiddle with my settings. My apologies. Robert asked me a question about storing settings as a text file, editing them in a text file, and then uploading them to change all your settings at once, instead of using the various checkboxes and things that we have here. We do not currently have plans to make that feature available in the near future, but I will certainly pass it on to our developers. That is actually the first time that this question has come up, but it's a good one, especially if you have a slightly dodgy internet connection where you're working from, and I think that's something that we should address. So. Robert, feel free to, I think I know who you are on LibraryThing, so I'll be happy to continue this. Yes, he says we do it work for complicated change settings. That is a good point. I'll follow up with you later because that is a good point. So it's definitely something we want to look into. Let's see. Oh, yay! Margie says that she's been approved to use LibraryThing for in-house library, and I'm really excited. Also, if you want to try out TinyCat, if you haven't tried TinyCat yet and want to try out a 30-day free trial, head over to www.librarycat.org, and that is where our setup wizard lives, and it'll walk you right through it. It just takes a few minutes to set up, especially if you've already got your LibraryThing account. So.
How tiny do you have to be?
20,000 items or less, or fewer, sorry, is the current cap.
20,000?
Yes. If you have more than that, especially if it's just slightly more, feel free to talk to us because we can probably make it work. But we designed this with smaller libraries in mind. Will I send the link out for the recording? Yes. I'm going to listen to it myself just to make sure it captured everything first. But I will definitely be sending it out so long as it was successfully recorded and I don't have like crashes in the background or anything like that. So.
Can I move my...
meeting... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you finish what you want to say.
Oh, I was just going to answer another question. So you go right ahead, Marg.
I just wanted to ask if I have my collection in LibraryThing, can I transfer it over to TinyCat?
Yes. So there's actually no transferring that needs to happen. TinyCat sits on top of your LibraryThing account as just a different layer. There is no extra cataloging or transfer that needs to happen. So all you have to do is activate TinyCat, and there's your library.
Oh, okay.
Can you add the award winner field to the search results page? That's a good question. We can probably do that. I'm going to add that to our list of requested features. So thank you for that, Kim. Okay, let's see what other questions I've got here. I know there was another one. Can we move books from one LibraryThing account to another? Yes. William, I'd be happy to talk with you about this via email. Our export and then into import currently isn't the best. And you would likely lose some data, like you would lose entry dates and a few other things. Your best bet is going to be using the CSV export and then into a universal import on LibraryThing. But you can definitely export from your LibraryThing account and then re-import that file. It won't capture everything. It will capture the most necessary identifiable information. And we are working on our import to make that loop better in the not distant future. So, yes, Suzanne. So your question is, personal libraries need to buy LibraryThing memberships to add more than 200 books, other accounts. Okay, so the deal is personal libraries can use TinyCat for free, which is why there's a membership fee still for those accounts. For organizational accounts, TinyCat has a pricing structure and is not totally free. So let me show you where you can find that. That is again on the LibraryCat.org website right here. I'm going to show you what this page looks like. If you scroll down, you'll find our pricing grid. So yes, that's how the membership fee works. Because since organizational accounts are paying for TinyCat, we're waiving the one-time membership fee. Personal libraries can have 200 books for free in TinyCat, and then if you'd like to add more than that, then there is the membership fee. If the membership, which is $10 for a year or $25 for a lifetime. If that's a major obstacle or issue for you, feel free to contact us. I'm sure we can work something out. Let's see. Okay. Give pricing a unique URL. I believe we can do that, yes. In fact, I think I can access it. Yes, here it is. Let's see. Here is the price URL. There we go.
I'm just listening to a webinar. Oh. Is it live? Yeah. I don't think so. I think I only turned, I don't think so.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I thought I heard someone say yes, they had a question. If you've got a question, go right ahead. Biggest objection we were finding from customers. That is a good question, Robert. Christy might be more qualified to answer that one as she manages our TinyCat email account. Christy, do you want to weigh in on that?
Sorry, I was answering another question. What was the question?
The question is, what is the biggest objection you are finding from customers?
Objection regarding?
TinyCat, or complaint sort of about it.
Nothing really. Ironically, I would say the only few objections that I've seen are really just cost. Basically, libraries that have $0 to spend. There was, for example, there was a library that's in a third world country that doesn't have a stable economy. Mm-hmm. They emailed me a couple days ago saying that's why they had to cancel. Another library saying that they had literally $0 extra. So I found that interesting considering, you know, especially how affordable we are compared to other OPACs. So I think that's probably the loudest objection so far.
Robert also asks, what percentage of budget would it make sense to spend on this? Well, that is a really complicated question, and it depends greatly on what type of library you're dealing with. Come up with a comparison. Let's see, I'm not sure. Because some libraries operate on stable budgets that, you know, they know how much they're going to have year to year. Others operate on donations which aren't necessarily predictable or regular. So. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to give everyone until, until the clock ticks over. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thanks so much for joining us and for asking such great questions. That was great stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give everyone like 2 more minutes to get their questions in, since it'll be 11 o'clock my time. But thanks so much, everyone. You guys have been great and asked some excellent questions, and we hope to see you again. Talk more about how to share TinyCat on social media. Yes, Kim, I'd be happy to do that in future webinars. We can email with you if you have specific questions that you'd like answered before then. Our next webinar is likely to be in about 2 to 3 weeks from now, after the ALA craziness. We might even have another one, sort of quick demo from the booth at ALA. Stay tuned to social media for that.
That we might actually do one during ALA, so possibly this week.
Yes. But that won't be sort of a, sort of pop-up, hey, surprise, we're doing a demo from the booth kind of deal, and others will be announced with more advance notice. But yes, I can definitely address that. Sorry if I made it too short this time. It was just, it's very easy to do, so it's very easy for me to sort of glide right on through that subject. But. All right, so it's 11, so I'm going to close things down. Any last minute questions? No, everybody good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you
guys have been great.
very much. Okay, bye for now.
Bye. All right, bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more webinars. You can always reach us at tinycat@librarything.com. Follow us on Twitter at tinycat_lib, and we'll hope to see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.